Yeah, we are lucky to have Mr. Wouter Meijs with us, the Technology EVP, Executive Vice President of ING Turkey. Welcome, Wouter.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
So we'll talk about your expertise and how ING uses AI in practice. But before that, you've been an expat in Turkey since the beginning of this year, right? And obviously you worked in other countries previously. So how do you see banking in Turkey? Is there anything surprised you in a positive or a negative way?
Yeah, so I came to Turkey in January, so I've been here now almost 10 months. And I must admit, when I came here, I was highly surprised by the digitalization here in Turkey. Not just in banking, I think, but even if I look at my banking app, there's a lot of services already incorporated in the app, from paying your utility bills to paying traffic fines to whatever you want to do. It's basically already in your banking app, which is quite special. But also looking at the broader society, there is a lot of digitalization here in Turkey. I think that's something to be proud of. And then secondly, I think what even more amazing is the type of engineering spirit that I can see here. There's a lot of very highly talented people, very flexible, with the type of flexible mindset that you need to do innovation. So I'm expecting a lot from innovation here in Turkey, not just from, of course, from ING Turkey, obviously, but also from Turkey in general.
Yeah, great. Yeah, actually, my experience in global consultancy firms is similar. I tend to regard the Turkish banking sector as technologically advanced and highly customer-oriented compared to the global average. And yeah, of course, it's not only related to finance, but also in other industries as well. Actually, finance is one of the leading sectors in digitalization and adopting new technologies like AI. And we know that as ING Turkey, you have digital leadership as one of the main strategy pillars. Can you briefly talk about ING Turkey's digitalization strategy and how you position AI within that framework and technology transformation?
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. And let's start with the customer. I think that's always where any journey should start. So what I always say is, at ING, we want our customers to do less banking and more living. Banking is not something that you do, because you like it. It's necessary. It's a very good thing to have, a very good thing to do. But we want to make it very easy to them, so that they have all the time to live their life. And to realize that, we said we want to become the digital leader in Turkey. And for me, that means actually three things. It means, one, everything is available digitally. So every product is there, and it's done immediately, right? It's right there. The moment that you ask for something, it's done automatically, immediately. And second, it's got superior customer experience. So it's easy. It's nice, it's enjoyable to actually do. And then the third thing, you've got the right products. So it's not just about digitalization, it's not just about experiencing, but also about the actual products that you're offering. You need to build the right things that actually your customers want, not what you think that they want. Now, this is nothing strange. I mean, this is not something that that nobody else is doing. Actually, every e-commerce company, every one of the big tech companies is already doing it. You don't open up Google Maps and then first look at the manual, right? You open up Google Maps and you start working on it. You don't go to Trendyol to register as a customer, or you don't call them to pay for an order. Everything is done through their app or their website, whatever you prefer, but it's all done digitally. It's got all superior customer experience, and it's all the sort of products that actually people want. But for banks, this is quite special. And because banks were not made like that, they were not made as an e-commerce company. We were way before e-commerce started, way before all of these technologies were there. So we have a long legacy of older systems that were made in a very different time frame. And they're usually big monolithic applications that are difficult to change. We have big data warehouses where all of our data sits in one big database, which is usually changed overnight. And then we have manual stuff, a lot of manual operations to deal with either your data or your operations. So at ING, we said, if we want to become the digital leader, if we want to show our people what an e-bank would actually look like, then we need to build a complete new platform. And this is what we're actually doing right at this moment. So we're completely revising our old architecture and building a new architecture based on microservices, on containers, which is actually what all of the new companies are doing as well. And this will allow us to really digitalize everything and do that in a very fast way. But secondly, as I said, you also need to have the right service, not just the digital service and the right service. And for that, AI comes in. So this is where you need data. We need data to know what our customers want. We need data to know what they will need in the future. And we need to analyze that completely and quickly and directly. And this is where, we need to change those big data warehouses with long overnight batches into real-time machines that can continuously feed and receive data. And then artificial intelligence, machine learning type of solutions to be able to process that data in real time and both serve our customers right now to create that great customer experience, but also to analyze their behavior, to know what they will want in the future so that we can build the right products for them in the future. So that, in short, is actually our digital strategy that we are executing at this moment.
Yeah, thank you. Like the theme of Turkish AI Week is AI is our life, and we see AI practices in our lives through a range of industries like healthcare, entertainment, etc. How is the finance sector shaped by AI, and how will it be shaped in the future? So can we hear a bit about your existing practices and future plans to stay out in competition in this regard?
Yeah, sure. So I think, it's sometimes just amazing how quickly things have changed, especially in the area of AI. And I love the theme of AI is your life, because basically it is these days. I remember from my personal youth, I don't know how old the most viewers here are, but if they're above their 40s like me, then they will all have experience with when they went in a car with those maps, right? Those were actually for the younger generation here. Maps are these big, unwieldy, physical things, and they actually have, show what the world looks like. And when I went on holiday before, when I was young, we would go to where I was living in the Netherlands, so we would go to Germany or Austria, Italy, France. And, my mother would be sitting next to my father would be driving, and my mother would be looking at those maps, trying to pinpoint the route, looking at the traffic signs. And then every hour we had to shut down completely at the hind seat because, there would be the traffic updates. And it would be in German or in French, or even worse for my mother in Italian or Spanish. And they would have to understand that. And then, here's the traffic, here's the queues. And they would need to know what to do with that. And and actually when I was 18, I still did the same. Right. And I think when I was somewhere in my 20s, the first navigation systems came on the market. But these days, it's all replaced by a single app. It's this little part of your phone that actually doing all of that. It maps your route. It looks into any delays and redraws your route as you speak. And if you want us to understand the language, not for the traffic updates or something else, it'll translate it in the meantime as well. And it does even more, because right now, if I walk out of the office at 6 o'clock, Google will ask me, hey, I think you're going home. Is that correct? Shall I navigate? If I book a hotel, it'll tell me in the morning, hey, you booked a hotel for this night. Shall I navigate you there? It knows what we're going to do. And that's not, this is again, Google Maps, but this is every of these new solutions are like that. And they all have something in common. It's all about a lot of data, very smart analysis in real time and proactive. And I think if you look at that is actually the future for banking. So this is where I think banking will be going at the moment. And how would that look in banking? Well, I think we haven't seen half of it. But it could be you open up your banking app and rather than get the same menu every time, you get the menu that is tailored for your needs at that specific moment, because we know what you're probably going to do on your app. If you go out and, maybe we still have cash in 10 years from now, and you go to a cash machine and you fail, you don't have to look for another cash machine. We'll call you and we'll tell you what is the issue. Maybe the cash machines of that specific brand are down and we would know it. or maybe there's something wrong with your account and we tell you how to fix it, but you'll get a proactive call from us saying, hey, look, we see you have a problem, let us fix it. Or, something, you walk into a store, you look at a TV, you open up your banking app, and, the very first thing you see is an offer for a loan so that you can actually pay for that TV that you're looking at. Those are things that are already possible with what we have at the moment. And that is just in customer experience. So customer experience will be so much more about, what the customer wants, when they want, and the moment and instantaneously, rather than what we all can offer and they just need to find whatever that offer is. But it's not just customer experience, obviously. It's also our operational processes. Right now, we're already doing a lot with AI and machine learning in our operational processes. In the past, we've set up a robotic program, for instance, and in the past 2 years, we have automated 300 different processes, which is actually 373 to be exact, but it's automating the work of 300 people. That's 10% of our total population. And that means we now have 10% of our population that can do more value-added things for our customers. No longer doing the repetitive tasks that we could replace by robots, but now actually are doing more to empower our customers. And we also have our personal assistant. Maybe some of the listeners here are actually ING customers. And they will know that our personal assistant is not just a chatbot. It's not just giving the standard answers to standard questions. No, it's actually able to do 600 different tasks, including moving money from one account to another, approving loans, and all of that is already done automatically by your personal assistant. And again, that is just the start. My view would be that ATM that's not working 10 years from now, it'll be our personal assistant calling you, right? It doesn't even have to be an employee anymore. It'll be your personal assistant calling you to help you with whatever you're struggling with. And then finally, so that's customer experience, it's operational processes. And finally, I think the big change for banking will be in security. So you can see hackers becoming more intelligent every year. They are using AI and machine learning, not for the right purposes, but they're very good at it. So we need to be as good as that. So we need to know when somebody's trying to access the IT system because they are generally an employee of the bank trying to do something, and whether it is actually a hacker trying to access our system. We need to know when actually a person is making a genuine ATM withdrawal or a genuine payment, or whether it's the result of a phishing attack where somebody stole a customer's credentials. We need to know whether something is a money laundering activity, or whether it's actually, again, a genuine transaction from one business to another. And here we have already done quite a lot of work. We actually won a prize on some of our AI on that money laundering, where we are now able, with an 85% probability, to say whether or not a certain account will be used within the next 90 days for a money laundering activity. And we're doing that by combining alerts with different scenarios, and then by combining that all into sort of a machine learning type of operation, we can now predict whether or not some account is actually genuine or not. And most importantly, at least I think that's also for me, we are also able to shut down alerts that are actually not probably having to relate with any of the type of activity that we want to stop. So I don't have now to have 100 people chasing alerts that lead nowhere. No, we can really single out those alerts that are probably true. So in summary, I think AI will be changing our lives much more. It has already changed our minds enormously in a number of areas, but in banking, we are just at the beginning. And I think with that new platform that we're building, 5-10 years ahead, you'll see a very different banking from what you're experiencing at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was a great, insightful summary, actually. You started with Google Maps. I mean, it all starts with customer experience, right? The experience you get from Google Maps, you start to expect from your bank, and always on, be predictive, be prescriptive and everything. And that requires a solid systems in the background, solid and secure systems, and also a solid data infrastructure, right? without data, there's no intelligence, be it artificial intelligence or real. So what kind of improvements do you make in your infrastructure for data processing as a tech person?
Look, it's actually the same what we're doing in our tech transformation. So we're building a complete microservice, as I said, a microservice on our OpenShift platform. We need to completely overhaul our data platform as well. Our data platform, as I said, was built for overnight batching, big data warehouses and we had a central data expert team that could access those. That has to change because I said the future is personal, instant, and proactive. That means we'll get much more data and we'll need to instantaneously be able to process it and come up with something. So we are building next to our complete application architecture, we're also building a complete new data platform, which is using the modern open source tools. We'll have events based on a Kafka event bus, sending it to an S3 data lake. We're using actually quite interesting. We're using Facebook Starburst, which they put on the market. We're using that platform for the analysis of and the processing of that data, and then feeding it to many of the analytics tools that we have. All of that coming to a real-time advice to our customers, a real-time service for our customers. Again, this is a lot of work, and we are heavily invested in it. So we think this is the future. We put that ambition of digital leadership. We are comparing ourselves with the e-commerce companies in the world. What are they doing? And I think this is exactly what we need to do as a bank. And when that is ready, I think we'll not only have one of the best data platforms in Turkey, but more importantly, we start and we end with the customer. It will bring a massive improvement for our customers in how they experience banking.
Yeah, very good. And as important as the data infrastructure is the human asset, right? With digital transformation, we need new skills, and reaching the right talents with the new skills has become more important. How do you attract the talents to your company? What kind of working environment or trainings do you provide? And also, speaking of humans, the famous question, will AI replace human resources? How do you see the future?
Look, there is no doubt that the new way of doing data will completely change the bank. What I always say is, I think in the future, everybody will need to become a data expert. And because not everybody will have the right background, not everybody will have the right, the full study as a data scientist, we need to build the tools for them to become that data expert. And that is something that asks also something from the people who build the tools and from the people who are actually using those tools to become the data expert, to give instantaneous, proactive advice to our customers. Will that mean less people? Will people be replaced by robotics? I don't think so. So I think people's work will be replaced by robotics, but I think there will be much more support for our customers, much more value-added work to be done, which is still humans, but they're using those data platforms, and because they're not hindered by the repetitive tasks that we originally had, they can actually add value to our customers in a completely different way. But it means we have to invest heavily in our people, and I think that is one of the things that we as ING have done for a long time already. And you ask, what do we do? Well, we try to attract the right new talent, focusing on, from data scientists, but also people with a data background, with an analytical background, servicing our customers with the right engineering focus to build those tools. But we're also, training our own people, because I think it's not just hiring new people, it's also training your own people. So we have many different programs with leading universities, robotics programs, digital programs, analytics programs to train our own people into the new way of working. And finally, we're also investing in the right environment. So, you want people to thrive in the work environment. So we need to build a work environment where people actually love to work and can actually be very productive. And here's where we've been a long history in building what we call a fintech culture. We started way before fintech even was something, but we already started with a culture focused on empowerment, open, transparent, entrepreneurial, and flexible. And flexible, not just the mindset of the people and how we work, but also the flexibility as an employer. Now, long before COVID, we already had the opportunity to work from home, and we've continued that people now come to the office maximum 6 days a month. And even if they can work shorter hours if they want that, they can work 3 or 4 days if that's better in their personal life. So we as an employer need to be flexible in how we treat our people, and then we need our people to be flexible in how they work. And if you have that, then you have the right data platform, you have the right ambition, and you have the right people. Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of great things from ING in the future.
Wow, that was great to hear. I think that's it. Thank you, Wouter. So this was very insightful, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners today already started thinking about AI in finance and how they can implement it in their organizations going forward. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I think it's up to you, Hakan. Do you have anything to add?
Thank you very much for this inspirational talk. It was really nice. And thank you, Wouter, and thank you, Emir. Thank you very much.
Well,
Okay.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hope to see you again for the next years.
Certainly. We are the main sponsor, so I'll be there next year talking about what we've done.
Thank you very much. We are very, very much appreciated.